Hey, how's it going, everybody? If you're new here, welcome in. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Rollshambo, the connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny. And that's what we got in the box today. And if you can't tell, I'm pretty stoked. And I'm pretty stoked because I found this knife, not the one in my hand. I found this knife at a new retail site that I've been pretty excited about, and I've been talking about it on my live streams, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it because I didn't know that they even made exclusive versions of this knife. In fact, it was so compelling that I mentioned it on a live stream, and I don't consider myself to be a influencer. I know I have a channel. I talk about knives. Sometimes people buy my recommendations, but I truly do not consider myself to be a knife influencer. And the reason why is because I just talk about knives, and sometimes people agree with me and sometimes they don't. Now, some of you might recognize this pouch. This is an American Blade Works pouch. What's inside is 100% American made goodness in a form and fashion which many of you have never seen before. So with that being said, we're going to experience this together. This is the American Blade Works Model 1 Blade Runner headquarters exclusive, and your eyes do not deceive you. That is 80s camo carbon inlay. Did you know that they... that was really good. Did you know that they made an exclusive version of this knife? Were you aware? I didn't even know. I had no clue. And then I saw a post on Instagram about how Blade Runner HQ had been robbed, and I decided to check out their website because the guys over there were super cool. The community was like, hey, you know, where can we send money? We'd like to help out. And they're like, if you really want to help out, just order from the site. And so on a whim, I said, you know what, let's see what they got. Let's see what the guys over at Blade Runner HQ have in store for us. And when I saw this, I knew. Yeah. Oh, guys, I like that a lot. I like knives that have a little bit of flair, that have a little bit of that pop. This has pop. I've never seen this before. Have you seen any exclusives for the American Blade Works knives? I haven't. This is a first. I didn't even know it was a thing, but it is a thing, and it's a beautiful thing. Now, they have a drop point version of this, and they have this Warncliffe version of this, and I showed it off in a live stream, which if you haven't got on board with yet, make sure you check those out. Those happen every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and every Saturday at 1:30 Mountain Standard Time, and it's a good time. And we check out knives, and we talk about stuff when we find gems like this. And I mentioned it, and I told you guys how excited I was about it. And a few of you reached out afterwards and said, well, it's on the way. And, you know, I started to realize that the more and more people find out that you can, in fact, get a exclusive version of this knife with a camo carbon inlay, I knew it was going to blow up. So I sold a few knives, and here it is. I'm impressed. This is my first experience with American Blade Works. Now, I have some rules when it comes to my knife collecting. Rule number one, I don't like single deployment option knives very much. I don't, because I like having options. Yes, I fidget with my knives, and I know that to some of you that is deplorable. However, I like having options, and I know many of you are the same. That doesn't mean there can't be an exception to the rule. What I mean is that when I go against the grain on my rules, it has to be exceptional. It has to have something special. The single deployment has to be what I call the showstopper. And, you know, I got to say, the action on here right out of the box is pretty good for a flipper. Now, I haven't really talked about the knife a whole lot, so let's go ahead and do that. MagnaCut is the steel, and it's not just any MagnaCut. This is cryogenically treated MagnaCut. So MagnaCut from American Blade Works goes like this. They heat treat it, and then they cryogenically quench after doing the heat treat, and that makes it really hard. The exact numbers I'm not entirely sure of, but I believe ABW goes between 63 to 65 HRC on their heat treat and their Rockwell hardness. So you can expect really good levels of edge retention out of their MagnaCut. It has some, I'm going to call these vertical milling lines that go all the way up, and you can even feel them on that camo carbon fiber inlay. That looks to be T8 hardware. We'll go ahead and confirm that. No. Okay, so it's not T8, but it looks bigger than T6. Here's a T6 Torx. Okay, so this is awkward. It's not a T8, and it's not a T6. That means that this has to be T7 hardware. That's awkward to me. Not a deal breaker by any stretch. Bigger than T6, smaller than T8, whatever. I do notice that we have very minimal body screws here. That's really neat. And then we have a reversible pocket clip. There is no filler tab here. I kind of wish that there was. I kind of wish that instead of having the two screws popping out here that we had a filler tab. But it's okay because the screws kind of mesh in with the titanium handle scales. What an awesome value proposition. We have a 100% American-made knife because camo carbon fiber is in fact made here in the United States, unlike fat carbon fiber. We've got a full titanium liner lock with cryogenically heat-treated MagnaCut. The blade I know is in fact 3D milled. If you're seeing the lines on the blade, that's why, because it's 3D milled. I do kind of wish that they had finished that with a certain polish, but it gives the knife a rugged look. It makes you feel confident that you don't have to worry about scratching it too much because all the prettiness happens back here. The camo carbon fiber is what they call the 80s camo carbon, and that looks fantastic. I really enjoy the fact that on this kind of carbon fiber, when you shift the handle, you get to see the shimmer, you get to see the depth, and then you have the pops of color which really stand out. That's nice. The ergos in hand feel good. You can in fact choke up, and you could of course do a advanced pinch grip, which is what I would do right here for some extreme control. We have jimping on the spine of the blade. Hallelujah. And does it index? Yeah, this is my first. Yeah, it indexes. This is my first time handling this knife. So when I get a feel for a knife right away, it's a beautiful thing. It tells you that the ergos are good. It does feel a little on the heavy side. I don't know exactly how much it weighs. We'll save that for the full review, but full disclosure, this is not a review. This is an unboxing and first impressions. The liner lock on here is a confident liner lock. I'm going to say that that's damn near about 50% locked up, and it's locked up and locked out like a bank vault. Good to see. I'm really enjoying this. I'm excited to see where things will take us on this knife because this is definitely one that I could see myself using and carrying a lot. And I think that for $333, your money is well spent on this one. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Have you ever seen this knife before anywhere else, on any other channel, any pictures on Reddit, on Instagram? And more importantly, do you want one? I don't have any affiliation with Blade Runner HQ, but I'm going to link to their site down below because from what I've seen and what I've heard, they're pretty great guys. The shipping was super fast. And as long as we can keep continuing to get exclusives like this, that's definitely a store that I suggest supporting. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Let's have a conversation in the comment section. And if you want to watch more awesome knife and EDC content, click on one of the videos that pops up next.